enabled Osaka to grow into Japan's foremost industrial region, it also meant that huge volumes of underground water were drawn for industrial use, and the land began to subside in the 1920s and 1930s. Given that history, it will come as no surprise to learn that more than a little of the Osaka plain sits lower than sea level at high tide at Osaka port. Those low-lying districts are full of houses, but many residents of those neighborhoods are unaware that they are living below sea level. Indeed, it is the fact that Osaka's population and resources are concentrated on its shoreline, and the fact that much of its land is weak and sits below sea level in places, that make it so important for people to prepare for watery contingencies. Of Osaka sitting below sea level have already suffered severe damage as a result of tidal surges caused by large typhoons.
9月3日、ジェーン台風は淡路島から大阪に上陸。午前10時頃には最大風速44メートル。この台風は世界最大と言われた昭和9年の室戸台風に次ぐもので、同時に大阪湾一帯に襲来した高潮で市内は一面の泥海となりました。
大きな道路からね、小さな路地に潮が流れ込む、その水流がきついんです。で一定の高さになったら水流が水の流れも収まるけどね、そこまではそんなに時間なんですね。すぐね、あっという間やからもう時間的にちょっと覚えてないです。ともかく第二室戸台風の場合は風っていうよりか使った記憶、それからジェーン台風の時にはもう風と戦いで後から膨れ上がった潮水の恐ろしさ、これに流木、ドラム缶、これが一緒になって来るんでね、恐ろしいです。
We have learned that tidal surges pose a real threat to human life and lifestyle. But how are they formed? When a storm approaches, air pressure drops. Because there is less pressure to hold the sea down, water levels rise. At the same time, strong winds push huge volumes of water inland in strong surges, hence the name tidal surges or storm surges. Osaka Prefecture has taken the stern lessons learned from the past storm surge incidents to heart, and has built dikes designed to withstand an onslaught from large-scale typhoons. Osaka also has a series of floodgates, tide walls, and drainage pump stations to help counter tidal surge contingencies. Reaching from Osaka City to Misaki Town, Osaka's coastline is extensive and is protected by many floodgates and tide walls, not to mention local flood prevention crews that stand guard day and night against tidal surges. There are also systems in place to predict tidal surges, watch sea levels, and check that all necessary floodgates and metal barriers are secured. Through these efforts, we strive to ensure that Osaka has steadfast protection against tidal surges. But let us not forget an even greater threat. The threats posed by earthquakes are not limited to those on land. The ocean packs a terrifying punch when a trembler strikes. On March 11, 2011, a massive 9.0 magnitude earthquake struck 130 kilometers off the east coast of the Oshika Peninsula of Miyagi Prefecture, triggering a tsunami that wrought untold damage along Japan's Pacific coast, from Hokkaido to the Kanto region. The Great East Japan earthquake caused major damage, but ultimately it was the tsunami which caused the majority of the devastation. Iwate, Miyagi, and Fukushima prefectures in the Tohoku region were hit the hardest. A raging wall of water exceeding 10 meters swallowed up entire fishing harbors and villages, surged up rivers, flooding inland towns and farms, leaving catastrophic devastation in its wake. More than 20,000 casualties, 270,000 buildings damaged or destroyed, and countless lives changed forever. Around the world, the memory of the tsunami generated by the Indian Ocean earthquake in 2004, which claimed the lives of 230,000 people, remains vivid.
Reporting to you in the tsunami disaster.
Japan has long been known for its vulnerability to tsunami, as illustrated by the fact that the Japanese word for tidal waves has become the standard global term for the phenomena. There are records of tsunami damage in Japan going well back in time. The Meiji Great Sanriku Tsunami in 1896 and the Ansei Nankai Earthquake Tsunami in 1854, which did great damage to Osaka. But what is a tsunami? When an earthquake occurs with such force that it changes the topography of the seabed, those changes in land shape are not absorbed by the seawater. They are transferred to it, thus causing walls of water. Also, the deeper the sea, the faster the wave travels. This means that a tsunami moves as fast as a jet airplane out at sea, and even as it gets closer to the shore, it still travels as fast as a speeding car. Off the coast of Japan, there is conflict between tectonic plates. The distortion caused by the Philippine Sea Plate being tucked under the Eurasian Plate is predicted to cause an earthquake and wide-reaching tsunami. Looking back, we can see that major tsunamis strike every 90 to 150 years. Recent examples are the Ansei Nankai earthquake of 1854 and the Showa Nankai earthquake of 1946. The tremblers threw up massive waves that wreaked havoc from Kyushu to the Tokai region. While the Great Hanshin Awaji earthquake, which was centered directly under the district, caused unspeakable carnage, there was little tsunami damage to speak of. However, the Tonankai Nankai earthquake is predicted to deliver the double blow of earthquake and tsunami. In preparation for this, Osaka Prefecture is working to reinforce its many tidal protection installations to withstand the inevitable earthquake, in order to minimize tsunami damage. Local governments and flood prevention crews are undergoing constant training to ensure that once the earthquake is detected, they close the floodgates and tide walls before the tsunami reaches land. However, unlike typhoons, which can be predicted, tsunami landfall comes so soon after the earthquake that the possibility that the crews will not be able to react in time exists. In reality, large-scale natural disasters like the Great East Japan earthquake often cause damage far in excess of anything imagined. We must therefore consider problems and dangers unique to urban areas. For example, what if a tsunami damages a breakwater and floods a city's underground malls and subways? What if shipping containers are washed off coastal facilities, or there is a huge fire at an industrial complex? What roads and infrastructure are destroyed by liquefaction. It is of vital importance that we learn from past earthquakes and tsunamis to consider all possibilities, and for each of us to be constantly aware and prepared for these contingencies. Imagine an earthquake strikes one day out of the blue. There is a world of difference between those who are mentally prepared and those who are not. If you feel the ground tremble, the first thing to do is protect yourself. Once the shaking stops, open doors while paying close attention to see if there are any aftershocks, to ensure you have an escape route. What if you are near the sea when an earthquake strikes? Regardless of whether the earthquake is violent or mild, move swiftly to higher ground or the upper floors of a sturdy building. It is also important to monitor television and radio broadcasts for tsunami advisories and warnings. What if you are in an underground mall when an earthquake strikes? Don't panic. Wait for the shaking to stop. Then follow the lights and signs to an overground exit.
大阪に津波がやってくる南海地震を想定した場合にはおよそ1時間という時間があります。もしかするとこの1時間という時間は長い十分時間があるっていうふうに思うかもしれないんですよね。しかし東日本大震災、例えば仙台市ですね、仙台市に来襲した津波というのは地震から1時間でやってきました。それでも700人以上の方々が亡くなってしまいました。でそういう意味で考えますと1時間という時間であってもその長い十分時間があるっていうふうに考えるのは間違いだと思うんです。まずは地震の揺れ、非常に強い地震の揺れがありますから、まずその地震の揺れから身を守るっていうこと、そしてその後に迅速な避難を心がける。特に徒歩で、基本的には徒歩で避難していただく、そのための方策、計画というのを各自皆さん一人一人が考えていただきたいと思います。
It is vital that families and local communities talk in advance about what to do in an emergency. But never forget that natural disasters have a habit of exceeding our predictions. Follow the indicated course to learn all about how tsunamis and tidal surges are generated. Find out about past causes of flood damage and the lessons learned from those tragic events. If you have any questions, please ask one of our staff. And don't forget to check out our video in which experts give varied predictions of the damage that Osaka can expect in the event of a tsunami.